This video was brought to you by NCIX. Great technology, selection, and service.
Hello everyone, this is Dimitri with Hardware Canucks, and Corsair has really proven to us that they're very eager to dominate the enclosure market with the expansion of affordable offerings. So today we're taking a look at the graphite enclosure. This is the 230T. A mid-tower with a splash of color, priced at $90 for the orange and the gray, and $10 shaved for the standard black. This price point is definitely a sweet spot for the mid-range builds, and Corsair is smart to recognize the essential features that most users would need and incorporate them into the 230T. The color is an attractive option with great coating without any signs of peeling that might be just a way to spice up your build. This arrow-like side window is awesome to reveal the internals, and the side panels are actually just secured by a single thumb screw at the back and removed by pulling the panel forward. I don't mind this process, plus the angular dent adds a bit of character to the chassis that is also seen up top to keep things consistent, where dual 120 and 140mm fan mounts are available with small rubber grommets for the fans. But no dust filter, which I'm not surprised about, and I really hope Corsair starts to include top dust filters on every single case and not just the Obsidian line. Front panel connections are basic with just two USB 3 ports, audio jacks, and PR buttons that were very difficult to press on our sample. Removing the front panel, we have a built-in mesh to catch the dust and two intake fans included. Notice how they're on a different plane sort of, with the top fan mounted more forward, so this means no front water cooling options. And taking a look at the back, we have the standard scene with an exhaust fan, 7 PCI slots, and a removable dust filter for the power supply, plus an additional bottom intake slot that is exposed to those dust particles that Corsair loves so much, apparently. And with power supplies up to 180mm, both fan sizes are supported at the bottom. The 230T stands on these very tiny adhesive rubber feet that do provide some level of stability, but even for $80 we would need to still see proper case feet. So Corsair's internal frame hasn't changed all that much, as it is actually pretty good, and even the accessory box included is from the 200R case that has an identical frame with just a few things changed on the 230T. So first of all, the drive cage is new. They've gone ahead with a completely toolless approach with 4 SSD slots facing the motherboard and 4 standard mechanical slots. There are cutouts on the SSD cage to secure the drives inside, so that's considerate, and you can also appreciate the simplicity of assembly, but yeah, we'll have to work around the cabling for those SSDs, especially since they're facing inside. The spacing between each slot isn't much, so populating both top and the bottom was a bit problematic in our scenario, plus the entire cage goes as high as the bottom 4 PCI slots, so GPU clearance will be limited to about 11 inches due to SATA cables for those bottom expansion slots, and plenty of clearance for the top 3 PCI slots. Plus this opening will allow direct cooling for the GPU and the rest of your components. Now for $80, I was expecting to see rubber grommets on the cutouts, and also build quality of the frame is not impressive with a lot of flex and everything's riveted. And yes, this is $80 case, so we aren't expecting to see outstanding construction, but the Corsair quality has definitely seen degradation over time. Now on a good note, Corsair has made sure to pre-install motherboard standoffs and all black cables, so that's very much appreciated. Coming around to the back, there's plenty of room for cable management, plus you can tuck the cables at this bottom sleeve, and there are some cable tie mounts, although strangely none in the center, so I would definitely like to see that changed. And with the build assembled, those SATA cables definitely need some cleaning work, but in the end, the 230T can handle perfectly well a mid-range system with long GPU and overall clean routing. There isn't that much room up top for a water cooler, but the 120mm holes are offset closer to the windowed side panel to avoid clearance issues with any of the cabling, especially that 8-pin CPU cable. All of the routing in the back looks like it should, and Corsair has always been great with making sure there's enough room to work with. And closing the side panel, the 230T looks pretty great, and the orange color scheme makes for one unique piece within your computer space. So now the things that we liked are the totally toolless approach towards drive mounts for both SSDs and mechanical drives, excellent paint job without any orange scuffs on the black portions of the frame, and both front fans are included, so airflow out of the box should be sufficient. However, the lack of rubber grommets, missing top and bottom dust filters, poor frame quality that feels really bendy, and the somewhat awkward wiring for those SSDs with tight spacing between them are just a few things that we're starting to see more and more from Corsair. And while the 230T is not a bad case for someone wanting something basic and perhaps have the almost $100 to spare, it would have been a totally killer chassis if they brought back the features that they themselves some time ago were at the forefront of pushing within the enclosure market, like excellent build quality, rubber grommets, and unique features. But how do you feel about the 230T and its drawbacks? Let us know in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe and like for more similar content, and we'll see you in the next one.